An album is where I feel most comfortable with now. I think it's got more longevity and it really tells a story, and hopefully the listener can understand, you know, the emotions and the story behind each track, and as a full body of work. After the 8-track album, which was a deeply personal project for me, that really told a story, and a lot of people, most people understand, you know, the philosophy behind it all, but I actually genuinely feel like if you listen to the album from start to finish, it does really take you on a journey and tells a story, and that's just what I've tried to do again with Recovery. Funnily enough, it was called Recovery way before all this global pandemic, and it seems a bit more fitting that it's called Recovery now as well. So just telling the story like I always try to do with my music. If you compare it to something like my 8-track album, it's definitely I think it's more like of a healing album, hence the title. Definitely more of a healing, where I'm heading back towards the kind of club-orientated music. It's not fully there, but it's not where 8-track was. It's kind of, you know, filling the void, the bridge, I would say. I would say that the next album is going to be strictly for the dance floor. That's what I have in mind. I haven't started that one yet.
Here we go. Hacienda, Kraftwerk, Maggie Thatcher, Paparazzi.
So I started talking to Boy George around 5 or 6 years ago now. He's a bit of an icon. Growing up in the 80s, grew up around listening to Culture Club on the radio. Definitely a style icon, character for sure. And yeah, I just always had this vision of doing something super quirky with George. So I can't even remember how I hit him up actually. But he fondly agreed, and then I sent him Body Control, and I've been working on that for quite some time now. And then brought Jamie on board as well, and between all three of us we've managed to carve out something that's quirky, energetic, and really resonates with something that I do, something that I play in the club. George is speaking about the 80s, about 1982, the year that I was born. And yeah, I think it's just really interesting to see how, like, obviously George, what he did in the 80s and what was relevant to him and what he actually remembers off the cuff from the 80s, and that translates into the record as well, and I think it's a cool, fun record. Sent Jamie absolutely loved it, and Jamie's just put his stamp on it, especially in the breakdown as well, and just gave it a bit more character really, gave it a bit more pizzazz for the dance floor, and if anyone knows how to rock a dance floor, it's definitely Jamie Jones. So yeah, we've finished it together and it sounds fantastic.
What you gonna do? Take me to Naboo.
So I've been friends with Miss Kitten for a long time now, and she's a fellow Star Wars buff as well. One of the most sweetest ladies that you're ever going to meet, and a legend in her own right. And we've managed to just carve a bit of a nice friendship over the years. Can't remember where we first met. She played for me at Labyrinth at Pasha as well, and yeah, we just get along tremendously. It's always nice when we see each other. I think the last time that we were playing back to back, we were playing some early 90s rave on the Pasha dance floors, which was quite unique. And I've always wanted to do something with her as well, and I made this kind of futuristic space disco, if you can call it that. And straight away I thought Miss Kitten would feature on this extremely well, so I sent her it over, and she got back to me right away and said she loved it, and then within an afternoon or a day she sent over what she sent over, and it all came together quite nicely, and the final product is very interesting. If you're a Star Wars fan or a sci-fi buff, you'll particularly enjoy it, but it is quite a unique record in its own right, very original. So I've done a couple of records with Liz Cass as well, very talented singer and songwriter as well. She writes all the lyrics on the tracks that we've done, and she was introduced to me by a friend and producer on the label as well, called Michael Janssens. I asked him if he had any new singers that would be interested in working with me, and he quickly recommended Liz. And yeah, hit her up, and we've done quite a few special records together now, and some of them you'll see on the album. Temple. So Temple are two young lads from London who I've known since they were probably like 17 or 18. I've kind of watched them grow in the background, let them do their thing, keep listening to stuff, keep sending them stuff over the years for them to write on, and we've just never quite got the right track to stick. But like I said, they have been doing their thing quite quietly and really progressing and really maturing, so I'm quite excited to see what their future brings as well. The record that they've done, especially on the Nightfall record, I actually didn't send the Nightfall record to them. It was my record label manager that sent it to them without me knowing, and I couldn't get the right vocals for Nightfall, and I was about to put it out and finish it as a dub until Craig, my label manager, sent it over, and I was like, this is absolutely amazing. Almost sounds like kind of a Jamie Woon record. So they sent me a rough demo. I got back to the lads, said this is incredible, I need a bit more of harmonies and a little bit more of this, and it's actually one of my biggest records that I'm playing in my sets. There's few sets that I've done this year, and I'm closing all my sets with it now. I closed the Exit Festival set with it as well. I know a lot of people have been asking what the record is. I'm really, really proud of that record actually.
Oh, I know you can run, but you can't hide from a awful history.
Cinnamon record. I had a kind of some chords resonating in my head a little bit. I wanted to do something a little bit more kind of deep house. Originally, the Hot Since '82 got quite popular with the deep house sound around 2011, and I wanted to kind of refer back to that a little bit, but add kind of the 2020 kind of edge on it, and that's basically what I did. I had a nice little guitar lick, some really nice chords, and it was just missing the vital element, which is a nice song. Liz Cass put me onto this guy called Ed Graves, who's a very, very talented guy, especially writing songs and on his guitar as well, very accomplished producer. And I sent him the track and he said he loved it, and then within a couple of days he sent me a body of work back, and it just seemed to fit straight away. And it's a very different record to what I'm known for doing. It's structured like a proper song, and that's with the help of Ed. And yeah, again, very different record on the album, so I hope you like it.
We won't let it fall.
The Rudimental collaboration. Well, I was lucky enough to be part of this lockdown link-up which Radio 1 and Danny Howard produced, where it's basically the world's biggest DJs, if I'm in that criteria, I do not know. But I got selected in this with a load of other DJs and producers, and I was quite fortunate to be picked out of the hat with Rudimental. And when they asked me about it as well, I was kind of hoping out for Rudimental. So yeah, we got picked together. Got in touch with the lads via email and WhatsApp, asked them to send me a load of stuff. So they sent me a huge Dropbox full of all kinds of different things, especially vocals, acapellas, etc. So kind of chose what I thought would work best with my kind of style of dance music. Yeah, and just cracked on. As soon as I got that, cracked on that afternoon, sent a demo, really rough demo over to the lads. They told me what they liked and did not like, and then we just went over from there, and the whole project was finished in about a week or so. It came together quite organically, and yeah, I've been lucky enough to put it and feature on the album as well, so very excited. I think it is definitely a collaboration in terms of style-wise. Last half the record breaks into some like kind of wonky, breaky kind of sound, and obviously the first half is a very kind of like Hot Since '82 kind of sound as well. So yeah, I'm really happy with it, and I think the boys are as well. The hot air balloon, Jesus. Well, I'm alive. I didn't fall out of it, that's for sure. I was very... You can probably tell on the video I was a little bit scared. I had to sit, I was standing on like a Reebok step up, you know, the step up that you use in the gym. I had to stand on one of those because I'm such a shorty. But the problem with that is I was raised maybe like an extra 8-inch high, and so I could have quite easily fallen over. So you see me mixing with one arm, and trust me, I'm holding the basket with the other. But it was a very unique experience, and I guess it's one of those things where you tick off the bucket list. Never thought I'd go up in a hot air balloon, never mind DJing in it as well. It was a very surreal experience. And that's the first time that I've actually done that as well, played the album out live. In fact, there's not many, chances that I'm going to get to play the album from start to finish as well, after each other anyway, so that was quite a unique experience. And yeah, I guess it was just a little bit of a pat on the back for me as well, knowing that I finished the album during all this crazy lockdown and whatnot. And I think it sounded great. Actually playing and mixing each track after each other, it was a bit of a task because there's so many different styles on the album as well, so making it all gel together was quite tricky, but I think I managed to pull it off while I'm high in the sky. It was fun. The landing wasn't fun, I'll tell you that. So the decks are strapped in there, and you come and you land down, and then you tilt the balloon, so you're literally tipping over and you have to hold onto the straps, and then you like just pull the basket all along a cow field, and it is, whiplash vibes. And then you just keep going along the field on your back in the basket until it eventually stops, and then you wake up beside a couple of cows. It was a bit mental. Yeah, it was a cold morning in Bristol. So I think 7 a.m. we took off in the morning, getting the sunrise in there. The decks were strapped in there. There were several GoPros. We actually had an extra air balloon in the far distance filming us as well, so we had all angles covered. The pilot is pulling is it propane? I'm not quite sure what they use. Scary stuff. So he's keeping us up in the air by pulling the propane every second. It just so happened to be pulling it every time I was trying to mix. It was incredibly hard to mix up there, and I did the best I could, but it wasn't really about the mixing anyway. It was about, the experience and the scenery and just playing the album, so I hope the mixing's all right. Yeah, the pilot, what a guy. He was a friendly dude. He was loving it more than I was, and he does that for a living. Really energetic guy, yeah. We dropped on to have such a happy dude. He was loving it. If you watch the video, there's another guy to the right of me actually, and he's from Mini Rig. They helped set up all the decks. They gave me a wicked docking station afterwards as well, which I've got in my kitchen, so thanks Mini Rig. Because we've obviously been locked down for such a long time as well, it was nice just to get out of the house, get out of Yorkshire, and get up there and be free as a bird.